For today, I'm going to show you some tips and tricks how to factor some special cases, in this case perfect squares and perfect cubes. So here's our formula for a perfect square. First off, what in the world is a perfect square? Well, it's when you take one number and multiply it by itself. So 2 times 2 is 4, perfect square. 25 is what times what? 5 times 5. 64 is 8 times 8. And what do I mean by perfect cubes? Well, I mean the same number, but multiplied by itself 3 times. 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. You'll be given this chart on the test, so you can use it as a quick reference. But for later on, if you're looking how to figure out if something's a perfect square, I say use your calculator. So you could take square root of something, right? Right here above the square is this blue square root, so second square. Is 122 a perfect square? No, I got some crazy decimal. But square root of 121 is a perfect square. It's 11 times 11. What about perfect cube? Where do you find cube root on the calculator? You'll hit math, and right here, here's your cube, number 3. Number 4 is cube root. So the cube root of 125 is 5 times 5 times 5. Math, the cube root of, let's say, 256, or 265, it's not a perfect cube. So there's a way you can test with your calculator, and here's a reference for the chart. What we're going to do is identify patterns within our polynomial. Notice how our ends are squared. A times A squared, B times B squared. Likewise with these other two. Once I recognize that the ends are perfect squares, I'm going to recognize where it fits in the formula, and this is what it looks like factored. So if you notice in your factored form, all you need is A and B, right? So if we could just find our A and B of our perfect squares, we can plug it in these formulas and we're done factored. So here's the first example. X squared minus 9. Do I have a perfect square on the ends? Yeah, this is x times x, and 9 is 3 times 3. So it will fit our formula. First, I need to figure out what is my A and what is my B. That's what number is being squared to get you up here. Well, it's x, right? X times x is x squared. So x is my A, and to get 9 is 3. 3 is my B. 3 times 3 is 9. So A is x and B is 3. I'll need to look at my formulas to see where does this fit. Well, I don't have a middle part, do I? This 2ab, whatever that is. It looks like it resembles this one. A squared minus B squared. Where the factored form is A plus B times A minus B. And I just said A is x and B is 3. So let me just plug that in. Like so. So everywhere I have an A in the formula, I'm going to plug in an x. Just like that. And everywhere I have a B in the formula, I'm going to plug in a 3. Like so. So my solution comes out to be x plus 3 times x minus 3. That's the factored form of x squared minus 9. That's using the formula. Now you don't have to use a formula. You can factor these like normal. So remember, this is a 1, so it's going to be parentheses, right? And we saw x and x, where I need to plug in 2 spots here. 2 numbers that multiply to a negative 9 and then add to a 0. Yeah, there's no x here, right? Nothing in math is a 0, so that's a 0x. So can you think of 2 numbers that multiply to a negative 9 but then add to 0? Yeah, negative 3. And positive 3. And there you go. So you can work these just like normal, but if you recognize they are perfect squares, then you can use the formula. Here's another one. Let's look at the ends. We're using the same ends as the last question to keep it simple. X squared is x times x, and 9 is 3 times 3. So again, this is my A, right? And this is my B. Now I need to figure out where does it fit in the formula. Well, I have this plus middle part. Where do you have a plus middle part? This one right here. And I see that it factors into a plus b squared. Now I need to check. Does 2 times my a times my b equal 6x? So we said that a was x and b was 3. And part of the formula, the middle part is a plus 2 times a times b. So does a plus 2 times a times b equal 6x? It does. So it will work with the formula that is a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. And the solution is a plus b squared. So take my a, plug it in. A is x, so plug it in for x, plug it in for a. B is 3, so plug in for b, and I have at 3. X plus 3 squared is my factors form. Likewise, you could look like this. I'm looking for x and x, two numbers that multiply to 9 and add to 6. A plus 3 and a plus 3, right? 3 times 3 is 9, 3 plus 3 is 6. So it factors into x plus 3 times x plus 3, which is a simpler form of saying that is x plus 3 squared. So let me have you give it a shot. See if you can factor these using the formula. If not, factor them just regular old normal way. And we'll see how you do. Okay, let's look and see how you did. First, I need to recognize, is this a perfect square on the ends? Yeah? X squared is what times what? X times x, right? So x is my a. And what is my b value here?
3 times
3
3.
times 3. So b is 3. Which formula does it fit under? The first, second, or third?
Third.
The third, because of the minus, right? The negative 6xy. So it fits under a squared minus 2ab plus b squared. I just need to make sure this negative 2ab part works. So negative 2 times a, which is x, times b, which is 3, equals a negative 6x. That's what I got. Looks like that works. And this equals a minus b squared. So in this case, it factors into x minus 3 squared. Right? Hopefully that's what you got. Move on to the next. Do I have a perfect square here on my ends? 25x squared is what times what? 5x. That's my a. What is my b value?
4.
B is 4. 4 times 4 is 16. Once again, it works for which formula? First, second, or third?
Third.
The third, because of this negative middle part. So again, I need to make sure that this negative 2ab worked for a negative 40x. So it's a negative 2 times a, which is 5x, times b, which is 4, which equals a negative 10x times 4, a negative 40x. It does fit the formula, which again equals a minus b squared. In this case, a is 5x and b is 4. 5x minus 4 squared. That's what you should have gotten for the second one. Last but not least, 4x squared. What's my a value? 2x times 2x is 4x squared. And what's my b value? 5. 5 times 5 is 25. Now which formula does it fit under? First one, where a squared minus b squared equals a plus b, a minus b. Where I found my a and b, so this factors into a, 2x, b, 5, times a, 2x, minus b, 5. 2x plus 5 times 2x minus 5 is what you should have got for the last one. How do we do? So? Okay, did we get it? Okay. That is perfect squares. Now let's look at perfect cubes. We're going to work this a little bit different than plug into the formula. But here's the formula. a cubed plus b cubed equals a plus b times a squared minus ab plus b squared, blah, blah, blah. Right now, I just want you to look at the formulas and look what they have. Some things you notice about the formula. If this is a plus, what's the first part of it? It's also a plus, right? If it's a minus, the first part is also a minus. So it kind of relates to your original problem here. Notice this first part is A and B. A and B. Dictated plus or minus by your original problem. The second part, notice you only see one minus with each of these, right? A plus, minus, plus. A minus, plus, plus. So there's one minus. So if I already use my minus here, the rest of these are going to be plus. But if I haven't used it, the first one I come to on this empty spot is going to be my minus. These, looks like it's always going to be plus. So again, note that the first part is short. It's your A and your B. And the second part, I'll show you how we solve the second part. So again, here's our perfect cubes that we can reference. X cubed minus 27. I know that x cubed is x times x times x. And 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. Now remember there was the first part with an A and my B. So my A is x and my B is 3. What symbol went here? The minus, right? So it copies what your problem is. So it's x minus 3. And here's how we're going to do this big part. You're going to break it down like this. Circle the first two, x times x. It goes in the first slot, x squared. Circle the last two, 3 times 3, and it goes in the last spot, 9. And then circle the middle, x times 3, and it goes in the middle, 3x. Now, have I already used my negative in the problem? I have. So this is plus, and this is plus. And you're done. That's how we're going to factor. Neat little trick, huh? Let's see that one more time. So 216x cubed plus 64y cubed. What does 216x cubed break down into 3 times? Let's reference. 216 is what times what times what? 6. So 6x, 6x, and 6x. 64y cubed, how does that break down? 64 is what 3 times? It is 4 times 4 times 4. So that's 4y, 4y, 4y. Okay, let's factor this. I have this first part, which is A and B. And what's my A? Say? 6x. What's B? 4y. What symbol do I put here? What operation? Plus. Copies this one. Now, what goes here? We're going to circle the first two. 6x times 6x is 36x squared. What goes in the last slot? Circle the last two. 16y squared. And in the middle, notice we are multiplying, right? I'm not adding. This is not 12x squared. 6 times 6 is 36. And in the middle, 6x times 4y, 24xy. Have I used my negative yet? No. So first option I get with a blank, that's a minus. That one's always a plus. This is factored. Just like that. We're not going to use the formula, although you could, but there's a lot of common mistakes that happen with plugging into that formula. This method is a lot easier. So let's see how you do. Okay, let's check our work. So these are all perfect cubes. What's my A value here? Or what 3 times? X times X times X. And 125 is? 5 times 5 times 5. My first part is A and B. My A is X. My B is 5. What operation goes here? The plus, right? And then here, what goes here? X squared. X times x is x squared. The last part, 5 times 5 is 25. And in the middle, 5 times x is 5x. Have I used my negative? Nope. So first option goes there, negative 5x and a plus 25. There you go. That's the first one factor. Next, 8x cubed is what times what times what? 2x. 27 is 3 times 3 times 3. So for my first part, my a and my b, my a is 2x and my b is 3. What goes here? A plus to model that one. First part, circle your first 2. What's 2x times 2x? Very good, 4x squared. Last part is my last 2. 3 times 3 is 9. And then my middle, 2x times 3 is 6x. Have I used my negative? Nope. First option, there it is, and a plus. So here's that one factor. How did you do here? Do we get it? Pretty good. Last but not least, 64x cubed. What times what times what? 4. So 4x 3 times. And how do you get 1? What's 1 3 times, right? So my a value is, what's my a value? What did I cube over here at 4x? What's my b value? A 1. What operation goes here? Subtraction, the minus. There's the first part. Second part. Circle 4x times 4x. Did you get 16x squared? Hope so. Some people have been putting 8x today. It is 4 times 4. Last 2. What is 1 times 1? That's a 1. And in the middle, 4x times 1 is 4x. Have I already used my negative? I have. So the rest of these are going to be a plus. There you go. Check your work.